Okay, welcome back everybody. It's been a while since we posted a video, but just because we've been remodeling the room, so now hopefully the lighting is going to be better because we have a ceiling up with LED lighting. But I had a couple customers stop by, and one customer put a computer together and it just didn't work out for him. So gave him some information, basically consulted with him and told him that this is probably going to be the best build for them because they want a computer for an office. And I always go with Gigabyte because they're very reliable motherboards, kind of overbuilt, and that's what you want for a business setting. So what we have in front of us is Gigabyte's Z270X-Ultra Gamming. And you know, a lot of people say, like, you know, why do you want to buy gaming boards for business use? Quite frankly, they're overbuilt. So if you just use them for business use, they actually last a little bit longer. But I stick with Gigabyte for most of my builds. You know, what's going in here is the customer already brought it. It's going to be an i5 7500. So stack speed is 3.4 gigahertz, and we're just going to use the built-in Intel graphics on this because again, it's just only be for office use. The customer had a 1 gig stick of 8 gig DDR4. But we typically don't want customers who do business to go with just a single stick because sometimes a memory stick can go bad. And if it does go bad, then you only have 1 stick of RAM. Your computer just doesn't post, it just doesn't turn on. However, if you had 2 sticks of RAM and for some reason 1 stick went bad, you would still have another stick, and then you can always buy another stick of RAM to, you know, fix the computer, and you won't have any downtime. But I'm going to do a quick unboxing. The case that the customer chose is a Carbide 100R mid-tower, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But let's do a quick unboxing of this motherboard. Retails for about $169.99 depending on where you get it. I'm the only cameraman here, so please bear with me. But let's see how it packages out. So it's a deep box. So let's see what they have down here. Let's pull this out, and you get 4 SATA cables, 2 right angle connectors, and then you have, this is something that Gigabyte started doing. It looks like it's a front panel connector, like an easy clip front power connector, and it's pre-labeled or everything. ASUS did this for a while. And yeah, you have your back OIL, your IO shield. And it's an multilingual install guide. So it's pretty standard fare. The manual itself is smaller than I would expect, but here's the driver disk and we're going to use that. But yeah, it is smaller than I expected. But everything seems to be laid out pretty well. And then let's see if they get you get a front label right there. But let's see what the motherboard looks like itself. This is a pretty heavy motherboard. You know, Gigabyte always does their dual copper setup, and they're really heavy PCB, and which is nice. This is just jet black. So this is a jet black board. You know, some people may not like it because it's lacking color. I think it's pretty cool. There's silver highlights. It looks like this is going to be LED lit, and a lot of boards are doing that. Gigabyte is actually reinforcing the PCI Express connectors with, it looks like aluminum, and it is soldered on, I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually soldered onto the main board itself, so for extra rigidity. So this is the first time I've seen it actually point soldered on right there, if you can see. But you have your amp up audio, and it's going to be, what they say is that it's a sound card that's separated from the board, and it lights up, so it shows you that. But you have your U.2, you have your M.2 on top here, and 2 USB front panel connectors in the same place. But it's a really, yeah, it's a cool looking board. With these shrouds on the back, I'm not sure if that's really necessary. It's just for aesthetics, I think. It doesn't seem like it would hit any kind of cooler, so it looks like they angled it at a certain angle so that it won't hit a aftermarket CPU cooler. But otherwise, pretty cool looking board. I'll put it back together, and let me see if I can get that case there so that we can see what he's got up there. And if you're curious about the Carbide case, and I'm going to move all this out of the way, and then we can go ahead and get the case. But this is the 100R Carbide case. So it's if you guys remember, I did the an unboxing of another Corsair case not too long ago. This is more for business, you know, because it's more conservative front fascia here, and you have your two USB 3.0, your reset and power, and mic and headphone jack in the front. It intakes air from the side here. There's a perforated slits here, vents here, and it's also perforated on the bottom. But if you can see on this particular, let's see if we can get it out early. And I can't get it out, but there should be, there we go. And again, this might be, I'll have to probably redo it because I didn't put this in. There is actually, why I want to do that is there actually are cutouts for two 120mm fans in the front. It's just that in this particular case, there's not any installed, and the customer just wants a quiet setup with a 120mm in the back. But the case is very similar to the other Carbide cases. It's pretty rigid. Besides the front fascia, this one has a full side panel. Let me actually go up to something that I have on the computer, my main computer, and we can zoom in and you can see the side panel there. And so this is actually what the case is. It's got a side panel like that, and I do believe it's smoked, tinted a little bit. So I'll get it together and then I'll show you guys the final build and see what you guys think. Okay, so I've got the system put together. Now again, it's a very simple system because we're using the onboard Intel graphics. It should be the Intel 530, 550, I can't recall. But the motherboard is pretty Spartan, meaning it's not, if the LED lights weren't on, it'd be just very like dark. There's no other color tone to it, just a black and the silver highlights basically. But here we go, and you see the lighting. There's actually LED lighting on the dims here, and then there's this kind of like Tron-ish kind of lighting here just for effects. There's actually some LEDs next to the CPU that light up for effects, and there is a light up feature on the sound card, and that just delineates the sound card supposedly from the main board. Okay, so it's a EVGA 500 watt power supply, and it seems to be a really nice theme here. The SSD is actually a Samsung 850 EVO, which is really lightning quick. Here's the front of the case if you guys want to see. Again, it's much better for like a office setting. It should be fairly quiet because there's no front fans, but two front 120mm can be installed. Two top 120mm can be installed too. The fan is pretty quiet, the rear fan, and as you can hear, nothing much there. I had to reinstall, and I'm going to turn off the light now because even though we installed new lights in the shop, it's dark here. So this is the Windows 10, and it's just a basic install for them. The customer had activated it once, and so we didn't get a clean activation. We actually had to call Microsoft to reactivate Windows 10 on this particular set of hardware. So if you guys didn't know that, now you know that. But this has been a quick build, and if you guys wanted to see, let's see how quick the 850 is. I'm going to try to step back, but the 850 is a pretty snappy little SSD. You might not think that there's a difference, but there actually really is a difference in SSD speeds depending on what you're actually doing. So the display adapter is oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke before. It's the Intel HD 630. That is the onboard graphics on the i5, and the sound is an Intel display audio and the Realtek audio on this Gigabyte motherboard. Gigabyte's always done Realtek actually. And then the disk drives, and like I said, it's a SSD. We'll zoom that in a bit. It's the Samsung 850 EVO. So if you can afford it, it's definitely one that there's a premium of like $20–30 on average between a 500 gig 850 versus other companies 500 gig SSDs. But if you really want it very, very snappy and you want consistent performance, all over the board, not just like big chunks of data transfers, then the 850 is definitely the way to go. I didn't put a benchmark on this, but I've had a different video benchmarking the differences actually. So hope you guys enjoyed the build. Any questions or comments, please post them at the bottom of the video. Thank you.